Hey healing homies, welcome back to another reading. This reading's intention is for inner child healing, using inner child oracle cards and tarot cards to open up the message. It is for your highest healing, so it's important you take things that resonate to where you're at in your healing journey. You can take it lightly, you can take it deeply, but just receive what needs to be received, okay? And let go of what needs to be let go. Okay, for the Healing Homie Collective, please, Spirit, what is this inner child reading centering on for the collective? Okay, first card out is 41 Tenderness. So the collective inner child is feeling uncared for, unnoticed, run down, burnt out. There is a need to be gentler with yourself at this time because the things that you're feeling are on a deeper level at the moment, this month. Whenever you're seeing this card and coming back to being tender when you're unwell physically, emotionally, mentally, or when you're feeling unwell in your relationships, being tender in your relationship with yourself, knowing that as a human being you are carrying that small person that you were previously still within you today as an adult, and actually being committed and devoted to that small being because you are the best person to understand them in their chaos and their complexities. And I think with the tenderness coming in as a medicine for you, you'll be quite surprised about how uncomplicated that makes matters. At the end of the day, having a gentle, loving energy towards yourself is going to help smooth this transition that you're in. Then we have number 44, Odd Sock, coming in. Okay, you weren't meant to fit in, darling. None of us were. We're all meant to come with our own flavors, our own colors, our own uniqueness, our own ways that we interact with the external world, and our own ways how we represent and show our internal world to our external world. Like, some people may ask you why you feel the need to be in fantasy land all the time, but really lots of things are made up, things that we keep alive so that we can fit in and belong, but really so we can survive. And you're being called right now, Odd Socks, to be strong in your differences with the world, and you were supported in that. And there are other odd socks out there that will totally get where you are coming from and where you have been, but first there needs to be that understanding from self. Okay, there's a sense here too with this card about decluttering personality traits that you've adopted or masks that you've used, and clearing out anything that doesn't align or that you're not needing to lean into anymore, because it is safe to be odd around yourself because you're being gentler. You're not kind of beating it out of you anymore. And that could echo a childhood wound where you weren't accepted for who you are, so you, and on an intelligent level, covered up the oddness, right? The oddness. So, and you replaced that or suffocated that with ways of being that were accepted. I'm feeling like for some of you here, the only time your caregivers or parents knew how to show up for you was when you were physically unwell, and that felt really good, because you would get taken care of, or you could see the love that they were giving, and they were allowing you to rest and all of those things. So there's quite a connection there with receiving love through being sick, and I feel like that's expiring for you now. Like, you receive love, healthy, unhealthy, and everywhere in between, right? Okay, you are a being who is nourished with gentleness and kindness and loving thoughts and actions. And there's a kind of a self-liberation here for you, where you're making a lot of changes to the way that you respond to yourself and therefore eventually others. The next inner child card is 10, grateful for the storm. Oh, this is a bit on the nose, this card is feeling. It is like there's been a storm. There have been times that you have created a ruckus, and then you are so convinced that this ruckus was like, what am I getting? Was sticky and icky and uncomfortable, but that was like a process, that the cringe of you coming back into accepting those parts of yourself that you were taught to be disgusted by, and the storm that comes with that, and knowing that you've been disconnected from a part of yourself that is so gentle, kind, and loving. So it could feel like as soon as your inner child has this safe space with you, they start throwing those tantrums that they never got to throw, or they are throwing them at you again so that they can have the care that they needed when they did throw those tantrum back in the day. And for whatever reason, those weren't met with love or gratitude or as a part of life. They were more like chores for the adults around you to deal with. Like, your emotions were chores for adults to deal with, and maybe your emotions still feel like they're a chore for you to deal with. And so Spirit is asking you to come on this journey, this inner child journey, with gratitude, showing up for how far you have come and how many storms you've already weathered, and how this particular time that you're seeing this is a special time, okay? This is a different kind of storm. There is a narrative of it's the same, I'm stuck in a loop, whatever. You're I feel like coming out of darkness that you felt tethered to and was showing up in your life as sickness, whether that be estranged relationships, poor self-esteem, physical ailments, or mental and emotional ailments as well. Like, there's this idea here for some of you that you've been held back in life because of these things, and you are rewriting that as you step forward intentionally into this storm, using your tools, knowing you've done a lot of work to get to this point, to use your life rafts. Yeah, on the bottom we have number 6 with support. So, calling in supports, divine supports, holistic healing supports, family, friends, or definitely unseen supports are here right now wanting to lend you a hand, okay? Prayer could be very strong for you at this time to help move that energy, handing it over to God at the end of the day or in the morning, asking for support, handing it over to your angels, whatever suits, whatever has been aligned for you in your belief system, and whether that just comes back to your higher self, so the version of you that didn't go through the journey that you did as a small human being, and who they would be without all of these wounds and all of this suppression, okay? Who would they be with the support that they needed? Because that is who you are becoming right now, okay? Okay, we'll get some tarot cards down here for the collective, please, Spirit. This card. You're definitely like closing out a cycle here. Okay, so please don't give up on yourself because you've worked so hard to get to this point. And you've done a lot of it on your own, it feels like, and which is why Spirit is wanting you to know that there is unseen supports, okay, for you. And that might come through this reading for you, or nature, you know, synchronicities, that kind of receiving support. So under 41 tenderness, we have 6 of Swords movement. Okay, so moving away from the belief that you only receive love or you're only worthy of loving kindness when you're literally like run the fuck down. Like that's expired. We're moving away from that. Your new baseline is that you're deserving of loving kindness every damn day, okay? So letting go of any beliefs that you have to perform in order to gain recognition or love, and yeah, showing up authentically in your relationships will also create movement too around who stays and who goes for this season, okay? Because we've got a long life to live here, guys. You know, it's not about moving away from everyone and saying fuck you, unless you want to do that. If you're being called to do that, do it tenderly, okay? Do it tenderly. And I feel like there's room for some relationships to leave the door open, because there is a sense of these relationships being important for you in decluttering masks and old habits that keep you in a box and don't let you kind of live your life. But 6 of Swords is a card for moving towards better mindsets, more grounded mindsets with more awareness of what you have healed and how it's been released from your field, but how it is still relevant to you to gain more wisdom from these wounds, not to get stuck in them. And for a lot of you, it is thought processes, anxieties, low self-esteem that you're wanting to move away from. Under Odd Sock, number 44, we have Death with number 13, Release. That's right, release it. Leave this cluttered shit in the void, okay? You don't need to go back for it. It is ending. You are ending this cycle of not being authentic with yourself because you've been, in a way, in a very deep-hearted way, self-sacrificing to keep relationships that you needed to survive in a loving manner. But it is now that you're older and more grown that it isn't loving for you to keep the suppression that has been passed down to you. And you're actually, part of your journey here is to end that for your line, like your lineage, and how you know, your ancestors will be benefiting from you stepping into authenticity. And that just like, I'm feeling really warm in my back. So like there's like this sense of they've got your back with this mahi. They're not wanting you to become your odd weirdo self, and they're not going to push you into a situation where you get degraded and bullied and punished and harmed. You've done that. That's happened. That is what we're moving away from. It's in the past. You're not going to allow yourself to get put in that situation again, and you aren't going to be guided to those situations anymore, especially if you do release it. If you get guided back into those situations, it's a time to stand strong and tall and have your own back, and know that you have unseen support, and say stop. Stop handing that back to you. That is not your energy, okay? And you are so ready to be handing shit back, okay? No more taking what you don't need to take and what doesn't suit you. Under number 10, grateful for the storm, we have number 4 of swords, recuperation. So this mahi you're doing, darling, is very heavy. It is very exhausting, and on an inner child level, it feels like, why do I have to do this? I'm meant to be, you know, loved and celebrated, and yes, you are. And this is why you're being called to take time to rest and recuperate, to make sure that you're not doing it all in one chunk. This is something to journey with, to flow with, and just to be aware day to day that there's going to be opportunities to move, to release, and then there's going to be a need for recuperation. Okay, so being at rest, knowing that for you, rest is your mahi. Okay, allowing yourself to just switch this off and enjoy your own odd sock energy where you can, even if it's just watching odd things or learning about something that's really niche and particular. Do that in a space where you feel comforted and relaxed. Use your tools, you know, your smells, your senses. Really bathe your senses with nourishment. Eat good whole foods. Feed yourself regularly, even if it's like, you know, one big meal in the middle of the day. Whatever works for what your body's going through as it lets go of this negativity and this darkness. Okay, fuel up, team, fuel up. On the bottom of the tarot deck, we have Ace of Swords with understanding. Okay, darling, you are just coming in with this renewed new beginning where your foundation is now settled in your puku of knowing that your authentic self, knowing them more deeply and allowing the eccentric qualities of you to surface as they naturally do so, okay, and nourishing that. And you are coming into a new understanding of yourself, but also of how supported you are to do this mahi, okay? Yeah, so sending you lots of love with that mahi, and we're going to close off here with a Healing Heart Oracle card that I'll read from the book. Okay, what does this collective need to know, Spirit? This Healing Heart message. This one. Number 29. Prospering heart, look for beauty, abundance, and generosity. You could be 29 or born on the 29th day. Lots of golden energy here, eh? Maybe you were the golden child that performed so perfectly that you had to sacrifice all of your, you know, anything that didn't fit into that image, and now the golden child is rebelling or prospering. Okay, here we go. Number 29, prospering heart. Look for beauty, abundance, and generosity. Dear heart, you have spent a lot of time limiting, struggling, pushing, and playing small. This has left you exhausted and living in a state of inattention and survival. The tide is changing, and you must consciously transform your focus from looking at limitations, weaknesses, and suffering to seeing the beauty, abundance, and generosity in the world. Stop complaining that there's not enough love, kindness, depth, care, ethics, help, and abundance, and start looking at the world with new eyes and singing a different tune. The most fantastic, abundant opportunities of your life are waiting for you to get ready to receive. They are coming to you from divine source itself and will appear at the perfect time. Beautiful. Okay, healing homies, I will leave that there with you. Once again, take what works for your healing journey and the mahi that you are doing. And you're welcome to come back and check in if this message resonates. You might have a different takeaway from it. But for now, I shall leave you to your prospering heart. Keep healing, homies. I'll see you out there.